It is Monday, May 26, 2025, and President Trump taking the heat to Putin, saying he has had enough of Vladimir Putin. Something needs to be done. In the coming weeks, we may see a major escalation in the Ukraine war. We'll explain what's happening. We'll show you what Trump just said. Also, Bill Maher interviewing Tim Pool over the weekend and ripping into the left flank of his party after learning who they're considering putting up for a position of leadership over there. You won't believe this, and more stories as well from around the country. But before we get started, thank you for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps out the channel. And consider subscribing so you don't miss these regular updates. So Trump's been back in office for 125 days, 125 full days, as he's been doing everything he can to end the war and deliver peace between Russia and Ukraine. Yesterday, 50,000 Russian troops began massing along the border with Ukraine, focusing around Ukraine's second largest city, Kharkiv. Now, Putin said for years he wants a buffer zone between Mother Russia and the West. Kharkiv technically falls within this wanted buffer. In the original maps he put out that Putin published personally, he included Kharkiv in that area. You could see it on the map here. This is the map he actually published. Kharkiv is well within this wanted buffer zone. Kharkiv, massive city. Russia tried taking it when the war started, but they failed. Putin on Thursday saying, I've already said that it was decided to create the necessary buffer security zone along the border. Our armed forces are now solving this task. Enemy firing points are actively being suppressed. Work is underway. Now, since Trump got in and began pushing for a peace deal, for a negotiated ceasefire, things have gotten worse. It looked for a minute like progress was happening, but that's now out the window. Yesterday, the Kremlin announcing they successfully thwarted an assassination attempt on their president, saying Ukraine tried attacking President Putin's helicopter mid-flight over Kursk with hundreds of drones trying to down Putin's helicopter. Watch.
В период с 20 по 22 мая противник предпринял попытку нанесения массированного удара с применением беспилотно-летательных аппаратов самолетного типа по территории Российской Федерации. За данный период времени было уничтожено средствами ПВО 1177 беспилотно-летательных аппаратов противника.
И во время данной атаки в Курской области работал президент России.
Совершенно верно. В период времени, когда президент работал в Курской области, противник начал беспрецедентную атаку с беспилотно-летательными аппаратами. Группировкой ПВО в данном районе было уничтожено 46 беспилотно-летательных средств самолетного типа. Обращаю внимание, что интенсивность атаки во время пролета борта Верховного Главнокомандующего на территории Курской области значительно возросла.
Now, since that happened, it's been like a non-stop barrage in Ukraine. Putin is unleashing hell over there in Kyiv. We're talking full retaliation, not stopping at military targets, just mass bombing campaigns. Clearly not happy about Ukraine trying to take out his personal helicopter, declaring yesterday an official end to the peace negotiations with the West, with Trump warning that it's time to put the West in a chokehold of their own, saying the West has been trying to strangle Russia for years. Well, it's time we turn the tables and return the favor. Watch what he said.
We need to get them in a chokehold. They're trying to strangle us, and we should reciprocate. We did not chase anyone out. We provided the best possible conditions to work in our market, and they're trying to choke us. And we should act in a mirror fashion.
President Trump not happy at all with how this peace process has spiraled out of control. Very unhappy with Vladimir Putin, with Zelensky. And you could tell he's unhappy when he starts yelling at the press corps. Watch Trump yesterday afternoon outside Air Force One saying, I don't like what Putin's doing, not even a little. He's killing people and something happened to this guy. I knew this guy for a long time and something has clearly happened to him. I don't like it. Watch.
As well.
Yeah, I'll give you an update. I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time. always gotten along with him, but he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all, okay? We're in the middle of talking, and he's shooting rockets into Kiev and other cities. I don't like it at all.
President, what do you want to do about that?
I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. We'll see what we're going to do. What am I going to tell you? You're the fake news, aren't you? You're totally fake. All right, any other questions? I don't like what Putin is doing, not even a little bit. He's killing people. And something happened to this guy, and I don't like it. Go ahead.
And we know ending the Ukraine-Russia war was one of Trump's signature campaign promises. Trump is firmly anti-war, as much as his political opponents try to paint him otherwise. It's clear as day, Trump's a peacemaker. He knows war is expensive, it's bad for business, bad for markets, it's inflationary. There's nothing good that comes from war. A remarkable shift, though, from prior presidents, right, and prior politicians who think wars are good politics. Yes, historically, we've seen presidents go to war to prop up falling poll numbers. It's happened. During the Biden administration, even, they really tried rallying our country around saving democracy, defending a democratic country over there in Ukraine, thinking it was good politics, ridiculously dumb. What we're likely about to see is a huge ramp up in this war in the coming weeks. Putin's got the upper hand. He's crippling Ukraine right now, and he knows this is his one chance to create as big a buffer as possible. Once a peace deal's reached, he can't easily relaunch this war. It looks like he's trying to hammer Zelensky into accepting his terms for peace. And all that's left for Putin is Kharkiv. He's got everything else he wants in Ukraine. He's never wanted the entire country, but he does want that region around Kharkiv to complete his map. Obviously, he's trying to put a massive amount of pressure on Zelensky to capitulate, force him back to the table, accept his proposal for peace, which says we're keeping everything in this buffer zone, including Kharkiv. What Trump's going to do about it, I don't know. We'll see. Clearly not happy about it. In another story, Bill Maher taking heat for his interview with Tim Pool this weekend. The woke brigade very unhappy with Bill Maher for ripping into the likes of AOC and Jasmine Crockett, doing exactly what he's calling them out for. When will these people learn? So during the conversation, Bill rips into the left flank of his party, the Democrat Party, calling out AOC and Jasmine Crockett, saying he's completely fed up with them, with really the modern Dem party's fixation with pure nonsense, how it's just bizarre. The attachment to things that are just ridiculous, how the average American voter watches and hears what these people say and think they're freaking crazy. Watch.
I don't think the woke people who have the vast amount of energy really in the Democratic Party understand why the people vote against them. And it's like, because if you add up like how many people are really affected by some of the aggressively uncommon sense things, it's probably not that many.
You had a great bit on that.
Yeah.
Why are you pandering to 400 people?
Of course. Okay. But when you add up these things and, you know, men competing in women's sports and like just too much indoctrination of children with sexual ideas that they're too young to understand. Like when you add up all these things that get in the media a lot, it paints a picture, not a wrong picture, in the mind of the average voter that, yeah, maybe policy-wise I would do better under the Democrats or Bernie Sanders, but these other people just seem fucking crazy. They seem like committed to just going to absurd lengths just for shits and giggles, just for the fuck of it, just this bizarre attachment to things that are just ridiculous.
I think it's to hate the other side.
Now, what is crazy is the media and Dems really think moving even further left is the way to win. Moving toward Dems like Jasmine Crockett is how they'll win in the midterms and retake the White House. It's wild. Watch these Dem Party analysts this morning, a day after Bill Maher just said what he said, saying Dems have to get even more aggressive, act more like Donald Trump, but doing so toward the left. Lord help us all. Watch.
It's been 6 months since the 2024 election, and Democrats are still picking up the pieces. But what's becoming clear is that the 2024 race was not a one-off. voters have been shifting toward President Trump in the last 3 presidential elections. Yes, even when Joe Biden won in 2020. Look at this analysis from the New York Times. These are counties that moved toward President Trump in each election he was on the ballot. There are 1,433 of them. And now, look at this. Here is the really paltry by comparison map of the counties that shifted towards Democrats in the last 3 presidential cycles. Only 57 counties. The clear takeaway is that Democrats have a lot of work to do. My panel is back, and we're joined by Politico's Sophia Kai. Thank you so much for being here. What are you hearing from the Democrats as they continue to soul search?
So there is a widespread recognition that there has to be fundamental change in approach and even governing strategy in majority Democratic communities led across the country by Democrats. But also, when you speak to members like Jasmine Crockett, for instance, which I have, she'll say that if Democrats ever do regain power, they have to be more bold, that the rules of engagement have changed. We see President Trump bulldozing over our institutions in service of his desire for what he wants America to look like. And historically, you have heard Democrats say time and time and again, they just can't do it. They can't put farm workers, for instance, on a pathway to citizenship because they're beholden to the Senate parliamentarian. They can't raise the federal minimum wage because they need to work in concert with Republicans. Well, there's recognition from Democrats that this process argument is no longer sufficient for voters. They have to stand 10 toes down in what they believe, even if they have to buck process, even if they get pushed back.
Yeah, I totally agree with Eva.
Just to make it crystal clear, the person who Dems are putting forward as the head of their party is Jasmine Crockett. We heard David Hogg, the vice chair of the DNC, call her the future head of the party a few days ago. Well, here she was yesterday saying and explaining what she'll do with her new power when Dems win back the House next year, saying she hopes to be the chairman of the House Oversight Committee. Insane if that happens. Roll the tape.
Next year, the House and or Senate. Do you think they're going to push for investigations into Trump's family and the whole crypto acquisitions that he is getting?
Well, Alex, I'm glad you asked.
Oh, here we go.
Listen, so long as we end up taking the House, which I fully anticipate that we will do, and we are going to work hard to obviously help our Senate colleagues as well, then as someone who serves on the Oversight Committee and hopes to lead the Oversight Committee, I can guarantee you that we will do what we are supposed to do as constitutionally sworn members of the House, which means that we will conduct oversight. That means that we will investigate. We will look at whether or not this president himself has violated the emoluments clause as it relates to, say, such things as getting a $400 million plane from the Qataris. We also will make sure that we're looking into all these business deals that they have going on. Think about it this way, Alex. They were going after Hunter because he sat on a board. Think about how much money they are raking in, whether we're talking about the next golf resort that they're setting up in Qatar, or whether we're talking about them leveling Gaza, as they've talked about, and talked about how it would be great beachfront property, whether we're talking about this crypto scam, the scam that people didn't even want to walk into and show their faces. Let me tell you, there is no shortage of things for us to dig into and determine whether or not there have been not only violations of the law.
Look, all I have to say is Republicans need to get down to business in Congress. They have the majority right now. They better pass Trump's big, beautiful bill, and they better keep moving at lightning speed. Otherwise, they deserve whatever's coming. All right, that wraps up this episode. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.